you'll be working at Disney World, but where will you live and how do you get to work and back home? Check out this video for all the information. Hi everybody, welcome back to Earning Your Ears with Christina. My name is Christina, of course, and I'm here to help you out when it comes to Disney housing today. I created this video as basic information video about where will you be living while on your CRP program or any other Disney program that takes place in Orlando, Florida. Disney has 4 housing complexes currently available for anybody who is participating in one of their programs. Those 4 are called Vista Way, The Commons, Chatham Square, and Patterson Court. These 4 complexes have a couple of things in common. For example, the amenities. So every single one of them has at least one gym, a pool, a barbecue area, and also some of them have sport courts. For example, a basketball one, tennis, a beach volleyball. They're somewhat the same. Some of the housing complexes are newer or older than others. That's why sometimes they're a little nicer. But as a matter of fact, if you live in Disney housing and you have a housing ID, you can go into every single one of the complexes and use whatever you want to use. So let me introduce to you the housing complexes with a little bit more detail. Number 1 is Vista Way. Vista Way is probably the most well-known one simply because it's the oldest one and obviously has been around the longest. Vista Way has a little bit of a reputation of being like the party housing complex simply because it has been around a lot. You have a lot of international people living there, a lot of cultures. Also, it's a pretty busy housing complex because every single bus runs through Vista Way. So every single bus Disney has will stop at Vista Way. So that also causes the housing complex to be pretty busy. Besides that, it's a popular one to live in because it has everything around it. So there's a Walgreens across the street, there are a bunch of restaurants around the area, Starbucks is not too far, and it's just Vista Way is right next to a very busy and popular tourist street. So there's always a lot going on, and that's why people prefer, for example, living there because everything is so close by. Next one up is Chatham Square. So Chatham Square, Patterson, and the Commons are a little further off away from that busy tourist street I was telling you about. Those 3 complexes are in walking distance to another. Of course, there are also buses running, but if you don't want to wait on the bus or you just want to go out for a walk, you can walk to every single one of them. If you live in Chatham Square, you're in your little Disney bubble because Chatham Square has or is usually hosting a lot of events. For example, you have the welcoming event for anybody who just moved into Disney housing. Also, you have the graduation event towards the end of your program. And there are also a bunch of other events that are taking place at Chatham Square because they have this really big field and you can do a lot of things on it. For example, I went to grocery bingo there once, and just a couple of other events are usually taking place there. To me, Chatham Square was always this big unknown housing complex because I only had a couple of friends living there, and every single time I went to visit them, I got lost because the way they have their numbers for the houses didn't really make necessarily sense to me. Chatham was just big, massive, and just crazy Disney, which is also a good thing. If you are a big Disney fan and Disney person and you want to be in it for 24/7, that's probably the best housing complex for you. And I know that Chatham usually has also a lot of Americans, so I don't know if Disney follows a rule or some guidelines where to put what nation, but I feel like Chatham always was more like Americanized. Which Chatham being Americanized is not really a bad thing. If you really want to improve your English and you have American roommates, That's perfect. Next one up is Patterson Court. Now, I got to live at Patterson Court during my CP program in 2015. I have to say I did like Patterson Court. It does have a couple of downsides, but first, the good things about Patterson Court is that it's pretty much the newest out of the housing complexes out of the 4 that I've mentioned. The pool area is very nice and pretty. Everything around is nice and pretty, and you can tell that it's not as old, for example, and hasn't gone through all of the things that Vista Way went through. Also, I'll never forget whenever I was moving in with my roommates, when we entered that apartment, we were opening up the cupboards and everything in the kitchen, and some of the utensils that we had still had their tags on them, so they were brand new. That was so crazy to me. I'm pretty sure that's not necessarily the case now anymore, but back in 2015, that was just a lasting impression. So now the downside of living at Patterson Court is that Patterson doesn't really have a real bus station. The only buses going into Patterson are the H bus, which will take you to Walmart and Publix, and then also the M bus that will take you to the mall. Now, those are the only ones that are entering. For every single other bus that you would have to catch to go to work or to catch to go to the parks or a resort, you would have to walk to Chatham Square. And also, of course, after a very long day, you would have to get off at Chatham and then walk back to Patterson Court. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. But besides that, it's more of the luxurious housing complexes, and because there is not much going on, as in not a lot of events are taking place at Patterson Court, people sometimes say about Patterson that it's basically like a retirement home because there's not much happening and you need to go to other complexes to experience something and participate in something, but at least it's pretty. And complex number 4, the Commons. Oh, Commons, how much I wanted to live at the Commons for my last CRP program, but I got Vista Way again. It was alright, I survived it even for a second time, but I really wanted to live at Commons for a couple of reasons. So I think that I really liked the interior of a Commons apartment. I checked out some of the most recent apartment tours that you'll find a lot on YouTube, and I saw that they had somewhat new furniture and how the layout is. I really liked it, and I wanted a different experience. So Commons was very high up on my list. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but Commons as a complex itself, it is very long and very broad, and so sometimes if you are complaining about having to walk from Patterson to Chatham, if you end up in one of the corners of Commons, you, or even Vista, you have to walk a really long distance to the bus stop, even though the bus stop is right in the center, in the heart of Commons. One good thing about Commons is though that it has a little store, and I hope that's still accurate information. The Commons used to have, or maybe still have, a little store called The Grit inside, and you can go there to buy some snacks, some food, or just some necessities that you need and you don't want to drive all the way to Walmart or to go to Walgreens close to Vista. So that was always nice to have. Maybe it's for the best that I didn't end up at Commons after all, because Commons is a complex right across from the outlet malls. So all you need to do is cross the street, walk through the parking garage, and then you're gonna be right by the outlet malls. And so now not only can you go shopping, but if you're also hungry and you don't feel like cooking, you can go to their food court and eat something there. So maybe it was the better thing when it comes to my paycheck that I didn't get to live at Commons, because I didn't spend all my money on it. But what you have to know about the Commons, they're the only apartment complex out of those 4 that have washers and dryers in the actual apartment. That makes it also probably the most expensive one, but still it's very nice to have your own washing machine and not having to go down and fight for a machine or hunt it down like Vista Way. Now Disney is currently building a completely new and fancy housing complex called Flamingo Crossings. So that one will be a little further out, but it is still close to the parks and a bunch of the resorts. According to Disney, first participants will be moving into Flamingo Crossings in May 2020. We'll see how that goes, because currently as I'm recording this video, the whole Corona madness is going on. So not quite sure if Disney will stick to that timeline or that date, but still it's not quite finished anyways. It's supposed to be finished by 2023, and we'll see how long it'll take and how fast new people can move into this luxurious brand new housing complex. Every single housing complex is protected by security. So in order to enter any of the Disney housing complexes, you have to go through security and show them your housing ID. Also, if you have a car and you want to drive into it, they will also check your ID. Now, if you expect some visitors, you can sign them in and then visit you. However, they can never stay the night. They have to get out at a certain time. If something's going on and there's an issue, you can always call security and they will come and help you out. However, there's also something called the service center. Every single complex has one, and the service center is somewhat like the front desk of a hotel. People are working there to help you with any sort of questions or problems. So for example, if something is broken in your apartment, you can go there and let them know, and they'll have somebody come and fix it. Or you can also go there to check out some cleaning supplies. For example, you can check out a vacuum cleaner or a Swiffer. Now, if you also have sometimes mail delivered to you, and depending on what delivery company is chosen, sometimes the mail will be taken straight to the service center and they process it and let you know that you have a package. Sometimes the packages are ending up at your doorstep or somebody will hand deliver them to you. But also, if you just have any letters or being mailed to you, there's a mail room with a mailbox for every single apartment, and you have a key in your apartment and you can go and access that one. Now, besides just the service center, most housing complexes have also like an education lab. And you can go there because they have computers available for you, printers available for you, and also a small library with books and video games and DVDs, so you can go there and check things out as well. In order to check anything out or to enter a Disney bus or a Disney housing complex, you will need your housing ID. You will get your housing ID on moving day. It will have your picture on it, your name. It will also have your departure date on there as well. So as mentioned before, there are Disney buses. Those are exclusively for cast members living in Disney housing. Not only will they take you to work, so to the parks and back, or to the resort and back, but there are also some buses that will, for example, take you to Walmart, to the post office or Publix. There is also a bus running to the Florida Mall, and those buses are included in your rent. But if you ever feel like you need to go somewhere else, somewhere the bus doesn't take you, there's always Uber and Lyft that you can call yourself and go wherever you need to go in Orlando. Alrighty, that's it for today. I hope you have a better understanding when it comes to Disney housing with my little Disney Housing 101 video. If you still have any questions, let me know down in the comments below and I'll make sure to respond. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you'll get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Thank you so much for watching and take care. Bye bye.